how can you grow some balls?
Take effing action, put it together, and subscribe to Tom Penn's channel on YouTube now. Yeah, I like it. It's crazy.
I'm with David here. Dave, as you can see, have balls. In fact, he has more balls than most of you. Last week, my team and I released a video titled Vietnamese Men Have No Balls. I believe Vietnamese men don't have balls. And it was a popular video. A lot of people watched it. They shared it. We can see that there's a lot of traffic to that video. And actually, there were a lot of positive comments. They're saying things like, finally, someone is saying something that should have been said. The response has been very positive. On the other hand, there is a small group of, I assume, men that were emotionally fragile. And when they watch a video like that, they start writing these super long essays, like the longer the essay, it just shows like how emotionally fragile they are. These are the men that don't have balls. Unlike you, I have the balls to expose the reality to you, but the problem is you don't have balls to see the truth. Look, the reason I did that video is very simple. Vietnamese men have gone soft, all right? They give up easily, they don't work as hard, they're emotionally fragile. Even the thought of, some foreigner saying Vietnamese men have no balls can drive them completely nuts, Emotionally fragile people have no balls and they're fucking losers. If you're emotionally strong and you really think like a man, it would not bother you. You would just look at the video and say, hey, that's not me, and you move on. But it is the emotionally fragile people, the fucking pussies that send me these really super long essays about, everything, right? And in this video, what I want to do is I want to help you to grow some balls, right? Vietnamese men really have gone soft. They're not the male masculine role that it used to be. I want you to think about Vietnamese history. I want you to think about the General Quang Trung. Those guys are real men, right? But we don't have that anymore. Everywhere I look around, right? Men give up so fast. When they go into sales, when they go into marketing, they meet a little bit of frustration, they quit, they are emotional fragile, they cannot take criticism. I see that in a lot of Vietnamese men. Of course, not all of Vietnamese men. There are good Vietnamese men. But unfortunately, I do see a lot of Vietnamese men that suffer from this. I think it is important for Vietnamese men to regain their masculinity. Because if Vietnam is going to be a strong country, if Vietnam is going to be powerful economically, we need our men to act like men. And that is what I'm trying to say, you fucking pussies. So, how do you grow some balls? I'm blessed, I'm fortunate, I have very good parents that taught me really good mindset in my childhood. They never said no to me because by doing so, I have very high risk profile. I'm willing to take risks. The word no is not in my head, so I want to do anything and everything. And I want to take bigger and bigger and bigger risks. And that makes me happy. That makes me feel accomplished. But I don't see that in the men in Vietnam, right? I want you to take bigger risks. And how can you do that when you're scared of everything? So I want to give you some tips on how you can overcome this challenge. So even with really good mindset that I inherited from my childhood and my parents, I still continue to take greater and greater risks. I don't mean, just in business. Definitely in business, I take bigger and bigger risks. I want to build bigger and larger and more aggressive companies, right? But also in my personal life, I take big risks. A few years ago, I jumped out of a perfectly good airplane. I went parachuting. When I jumped out like 30,000 feet from the sky, landed on the ground. I trained myself to shoot firearms, handguns, rifles, machine guns, I've done them all, right? And also, I trained myself, knife fighting. So yeah, you don't want to fucking mess with me, man, right? There's actually a lot more I can share with you, but I just want you to know that I do these things to push myself, not just in business, but also in my personal life, because I think that living a safe life is pretty boring. I continually to push myself to new limits. And once I get to that limit, I get bored again and I want to go to the next level. For me, that is very exciting because when I push the limit, I grow as a person. I become a better version of myself. And I see that as dramatically lacking in many of the Vietnamese men today. So what I want you to do is I want you to pick something that scares you. Maybe it's bungee jumping, maybe jumping off a bridge. Maybe it's, we don't have skydiving here in Vietnam, so you can't do that. So find something that scares you, that, makes you feel nervous, and I want you to do it. Maybe it's public speaking. Maybe it's starting a YouTube channel. You see, I'm not scared of anything. I want to start a YouTube channel. I start a YouTube channel because to me, everything is possible. The word no is not in my vocabulary, right? I want you to be the same. I want you to pick something that you've never done before and do it. I know it'll scare you, but as you do these things, you will start building your fucking balls. Your balls will start getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and you will finally act like a man. You will stop going to coffee shops, drink coffee, and steal their Wi-Fi just to play fucking video games all day long. You'll stop doing that. And you will stop thinking working for Grab is good enough for your life. And you will start thinking, yes, I can do bigger and better things because these things don't scare me anymore. I want you to go into a Mercedes dealership. I want you to go into a BMW dealership. I want you to go talk to the salesperson and say, I want to look at this car. I want to sit in it. Can I take a test drive? For most people, that is fucking scary. They are fucking scared to go into a Mercedes dealership and ask them to give them a test drive. Because in their mind, they think they will never, ever possibly own a Mercedes. So for them to do that, it's impossible. But I want you to do it, right? I want you to go into a Mercedes dealership. I want you to sit in one of those cars, and I want you to feel what it's like. I want you to go to a very expensive suit store, right? I don't mean like your cheap, corner tailor store. I mean like Tom Ford. I don't think Tom Ford is in Vietnam, but I want you to go to a very expensive suit store, $2,000 suits, and I want you to try one on. Go in there and say, I want to try this suit on. Try that. Be brave. Have some fucking balls and try it. And you'll know what that feels like. And when you can do that, then maybe one day you can really wear a suit that's worth $2,000. I want you to go do something that you're scared of, you've never done before. I want you to do it, and I want you to push your limit, do it more and more and more until you're not scared anymore, until you're not emotionally fragile, until you finally act like a man. Don't be a fucktard and start being a fucking man.